So, Ruby Volume 8, Episode 13 is a ride, to say the least. Like, my god, the amount of shenanigans that go on in this episode are so palpable that if you had even suggested one of these things, I'd be like, okay, that could fill up a whole episode. But all the things that happen here, ooh, let's just jump into it. So, the portals have opened to John's team as well, and they immediately go with their plan, which is to have John and Nora split off and help the people through the various different portals. As we have Ren, Emerald, and Oscar head through the portal to Vacuo to hopefully get some help so that they can start receiving people and all that good stuff. So, that gets underway. Of course, I love this scene where all the people are just completely terrified of going through the portal because it's just like random portal appears. You're not immediately going to be like, ooh, let's all step on through the weird portal that just showed up. No, you're not going to do that. It's weird. But in comes Team Rwby with Penny, and their job is just to make sure Penny and the Relic get to Vacuo. That is their prime directive. And we even have the Happy Huntsmen coming through, well, Huntswomen coming through. And doing their best to help also get the people of Mantle through the portal and to safety. So, unfortunately, wrinkle number one. When Oscar, Emerald, and Ren step through, they're immediately in a sandstorm, which was something that I actually kind of wondered initially. It's just like, yeah, they placed them, yeah, they were placed on Vacuo. Ambrosius put them on Vacuo. Where in Vacuo? Like, you should have specified, like, straight up at the Academy in Vacuo on their doorstep immediately straight out the gate because we didn't specify that and that's immediately coming back to bite us in the ass. That's a problem. Problem number two, Cinder's here and she immediately starts causing havoc. Several people get sent into the void, which is just like, ooh, Ambrosius said don't fall. That's not good. We don't know where they are, and they've just fallen into an endless void. Yeah, probably should have put that on like a flat surface or something. Ooh, we did not think that one through. So Cinder is going after Team Rwby in order to basically distract them. We flash back, we see what the whole confrontation between Neapolitan and Cinder and Arthur Watts was all about. Cinder knows that ultimately Neo wasn't too happy with the thankless work that she was doing for Cinder because it was obvious Cinder didn't appreciate any of it. So Cinder understands that, if nothing else. But as Neo does hand over the lamp, it's pretty obvious that Neo's just like, look, you better hold up your end of the bargain this time. And I'm pretty sure it was Neo's voice, but we hear her speak for the first time saying Jin, of course, because you have to speak the name. There's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. So Jin is unfortunately summoned for the last wish, mind you, for what was it, a century? So, that sucks. Last time we get to see Jin, and unfortunately she's asked, what is Ruby's team planning? And I love this moment because it's just like it just goes to show the depth of the relationship of these characters because Jin isn't happy to do this, but ultimately it's her job. She knows it's a bad thing, but she still has to do it. And it's so unfortunate because it's just like that she's just like, it had to be this. It had to be this. But she does it anyway, and straight up, Cinder hears everything from the beginning. I wouldn't have even guessed at this. She hears every aspect of their plan. And worse still, she sees that Emerald is with them too. Which I'm like, man, Emerald, ugh. Like, how badly is this gonna go ultimately? But At the same time, Cinder seems to be kind of like going with this better approach to having allies at her side, and it's just like, is she gonna approach this like, yeah, I guess I wasn't too good to Emerald, so that she went to the enemy side, or is she ultimately going to just get all murder happy, kind of pulling the Zula more or less, next time she runs into Emerald? But Cinder is way too thrilled to have Arthur Watts continue a lot of the subterfuge that he was doing when he first arrived in Mantle. So they immediately raid the command center up in Atlas, and oof, the scene here is it gets kind of gruesome. But Arthur is given the keys to the kingdom, complete and utter control over Atlas. Before it falls from the sky and all that good stuff. So I was right last time. He was the one who cut off the broadcast that John was trying to get out there to the people to calm them down. And at that same time, we see that, as Robin Hill and Crow were, tying up the Ace Ops to keep them out of trouble, Arthur sends in this remote drone and it goes rushing at them, just like, oh, kamikaze. And we have Marrow just jump right in without even a second thought, because this is a loyal guy. He's all about saving lives. Even if they were enemies at one point, he's gonna save a life, and he gets knocked out, like semblance aura just completely disturbed. And and at that moment, the whole entire place starts to shift, because now Atlas doesn't have the, you know, gravitational whatever of the relic. So that's no longer an option for them anymore. And Harriet just books it to the payload. Like, she's still trying to stay on mission. And Vine, he manages to get on as well, meaning that Elm was left behind ultimately. So Robin Hill and Crow are just like, oh god, they have the bomb. They have the friggin' bomb. Meanwhile, we have Ironwood waking up, completely just like, what happened? And Jock is all too happy to be like, oh, you failed. You're in prison. You don't get what you want. And Atlas is falling. Only for suddenly, Ironwood's cell opens up. And as, Jock is trying to be like, oh, you'll release me too, won't you? And Ironwood picking up his weapon is just like, sure. And just boom, vaporizes Jacques' knee right then and there. Like, dude, really? Like, the man couldn't even. He was imprisoned. He would have died with Atlas. Like, seriously, that it just continues to be going too far. He's just killing people left and right. Too much. But we have this fantastically choreographed battle with Cinder taking on all members of Team Rwby. She's holding her own pretty well, but again, maiden powers. But it's pretty. It looks like a pretty even stalemate. And as Cinder continues to make this grand spectacle of things, of course, wrinkle number three. Honestly, at this point, I think I stopped naming off wrinkles, because so many things have gone wrong at this point. Neo, she's hell bent on going after Rwby specifically. And, Yang is the only person to notice that Neo disguised herself as a villain and is going after Rwby. I don't just like, yo, Neo, too much, not the time. So Yang manages to push Rwby out of the way. Her aura gets shattered. She gets sent flying right off the edge of one of the platforms, and I'm like, no, no, no. And Blake, of course, tries to catch her, but too late. And Blake just goes falling into the abyss. And I'm just like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Calm down. She's still a main character. There's no way she's dead, but we have no way of knowing where that leads. Like, seriously, we don't know where that leads, how long of a fall it is. Her aura got destabilized. Yeah, she no longer has the protection. What happens if she hits something on the way down? What happens to Yang? Like, oh my god, bad things keep happening to Yang. And Penny sees this. Of course, she gets pissed. It's just like, these motherfuckers keep hurting my friends. So she just get ready to go in. Neapolitan is still hell bent on taking out Rwby. She will not be stopped. Blake goes from sadness immediately to anger, which I'm just like, yeah, of course. Nobody would be okay in that situation. She tries to go after Neo, but Neo's a little too swift for her, and Neo's not paying her any mind because she wants Rwby, and Blake wants Neo. And it is bad, bad, bad situations, meaning that Weiss is the only one person who can deal with Cinder at this time. But in comes Penny, which would be a good thing, but ultimately, of course, Cinder wants Penny. Penny has the maiden powers, and worst of all, she's human and has none of her weaponry, meaning she doesn't have her blades. And of course, she's a little disoriented. I'm just like, Penny, no, you're human now. You're not gonna be okay if you take damage. You will not survive. But again, it was already the case because we already heard from Pietro that, even if she was still a robot, had she been injured again, he wouldn't be able to give up more of his aura towards her. So it was a one-way ticket for Penny regardless. But, Penny brings out the daggers using her maiden powers, and Weiss ultimate support character here, tries her best to hold Cinder back, but Cinder brings out all these, you know, daggers, blades, spikes is the word, and shoots them at Weiss, and Weiss is just like, oh god, right, civilians, manages to block most of it, but of course a few get past right through the portal that John is trying to convince people to go through. And he's just like, oh no, oh, things have taken a turn. Things have definitely taken a turn. And so Weiss gets, blown up, but she's okay. She manages to recover, but that leaves Blake kind of wondering what she should do because, Weiss has been knocked off balance and Penny is still going at it with Cinder, and Penny is not doing too great. Cinder has gotten the upper hand on Penny before. It is not going well. So on one hand you have that, on another hand you have Neapolitan going after Rwby, and it's just like, Blake, do you want revenge or do you want to stay on mission and keep Cinder from getting the maiden power and killing Penny? One of those is more important than the other. I'll let you decide which. But Blake is just completely at a loss because just emotions are really running high here because you weren't expecting any of this to happen. I knew it was gonna be bad, but man, shit hit the fan hard. Meanwhile, Harriet, hell bent on unleashing this payload, is just like, oh, they didn't fulfill their end of the bargain. I'm gonna drop the bomb. And as she goes to arm it, Vine is just like, yeah, no, I don't think that's really needs to be an option anymore. And no, he tries to tell her, it's just like, look, maybe this isn't the path. And Harry is hell bent on doing this. But it starts to become obvious it's because she really had some strong emotions towards Vine. Now, we're not given an explanation as to what those feelings are and all that. But Vine tries his best to try to comfort Harriet. And honestly, I think he might have gotten her to just kind of stand down from all of this, that rash action. And I'm just like, okay, maybe we can de escalate this at least a little bit. Boom, they get knocked because in comes Robin Hill because she's just like, nope, gotta stop that payload. Not knowing of all the feelings going on in the other craft. So Harriet immediately activates the bomb, kicks Vine out as she sees him as someone trying to stop her as well. And as she tries to go to pilot it, boom, in comes Crow right through the windshield. And he's just like, hey, you wanted that fight? You get that fight. So they're fighting on an active bomb. Like, yo, no. Run wrong swing and you all go boom. That is not good. And Arthur, he of course, because he can't leave anything alone, he hacks into the ship engages the autopilot and sends them off in another direction. Meanwhile, Winter is trying to get in communication with anybody, but of course, in comes Ironwood, who fires upon her. It's just like, well, get out my way. I'm gonna get that relic. If I have to step over your corpse, I will. And Winter's just like, do what you gotta do, sir, and I'm going to protect the people of my kingdom. And it's just like Ironwood sheds a single tear because it's just like he's still set in the belief that what he's doing is right. But it's just like, dude, no, you've gone too far. You've gone too far. It's too much. It's too much. And they go at it. And I'm just like, man, I don't want Winter to have to kill someone she really respected and looked up to, but fucking cut his head off, girl. Cut his head off. Stab him through the. I'd say stab him through the chest, but it's obvious that there ain't no heart there anymore, so I think he'd be a little too okay with that. Meanwhile, Ren is having a hard time keeping everyone masked and calm and out of the spotlight of Grimm, but it's too much for him. And Oscar is just like, what's going on? Why isn't Penny here? Something must have gone wrong. And he tries to go racing back through the portal only to be unable to go through. And Oscar is just like, oh right, Ambrosius. He probably took one-way ticket uh, to Vacuo a little too seriously, meaning that they can't go back. It's one way only. And they have no choice but to go forward wherever that might lead. And unfortunately, as if on cue, in comes a swarm of Grimm picking off people left and right. So Ren, Oscar, Emerald, they are it. They are the only people here at the moment who can help keep these people safe. An entire 2 towns worth of people safe. That is not good. Like, where is Team Funky? Like, how are they not present in all of this? It's bad stuff, man. It's bad stuff. So much happened in this episode. It's crazy. The portals were cool. The portals were awesome, but the fact that we set up that Ambrosius takes things too literally. He doesn't leave you any wiggle room. If you haven't thought of everything, something will go wrong and it will screw you over. And there we have it. There comes the screwing. And now you have Bat Grim on their tail. Like, oh, god damn it. And the portals are cool, they're awesome, but why couldn't you put it on some form of land? Why did it have to be hovering in the air? Of all things, why did it have to be hovering upon an abyss? Like, it's one of those things like in video games where you normally have like a wall to keep you from falling off the edge so you'll be fine at all times. It's just like, what if you just fell off the abyss of a video game? Normally you just die, but it's just like, in this case, it might not be good. It definitely might not be good, and it really makes me wonder. It's just like, what's gonna happen to Yang? Oh man. Oh man, I think we only got one more episode. What's gonna happen to Yang? This is not good. It really is a fabulous design, but man, you guys, y'all were not thinking about a lot of other important things you really should have been thinking about. It's a bad scene, man. And what's gonna happen with Oscar, Ren, and Emerald? Are they gonna be able to keep these people safe? I can't see that happening. Like, and people going through the portal with everything that's going on through the portal, like I can't see more people wanting to go down that route either. But it's just like, what other choice do you have at this point? Cinder, you once again you have managed to f up one more plays. And it's always Cinder. Oh my god. Like Haven and Beacon, and now the whole situation going on here in Atlas. Like, god damn it, Cinder, you need to die. And I fully feel like she's just gonna keep living. She's just gonna keep living and effing things up. There is no redemption for this character. She's crazy and she needs to go down. She really does. She really does. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think will happen next on any of the points that I brought up? Because I'm at a loss. I can't even begin to tell where this is going from here on out. How they're going to deal with Cinder. What's going to happen with Harriet Crow and the bomb between them. What's going to happen over in Vacuo? Like, oh man, there are so many threads going on right now, and I can't even begin to keep. Oh God, I hope Penny doesn't die. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you later. Bye bye.